In the last video, you guys saw me run the yearlings through the chute and into the trailer and off to the steer pasture. And I was thinking this morning, while I've got the trailer hooked up and it's all dirty, today would be a good day to haul the bottle calves back down to the home ranch. They're still a pretty long ways off from being weaned off of the bottle, so I will have to continue bottle feeding them down there. But I just thought that it would be a lot better for them to be in with the other cows instead of being in this small little pen by themselves. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna see what else this day has to offer. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. I've already got a couple of bottles mixed up, so my plan is to just go over to their pen, you know, give them a little taste, and then I'm pretty sure they're gonna follow me right back over to the trailer. Once they get into feeding mode, I think they would follow me off of a cliff just to get another swallow. So I don't anticipate this being problematic, but just in case, I did shut the gate so nobody, you know, ends up out in the road or anything like that. Plan might work too well. I guess I really only needed one bottle here. Okay, come on. Do it. Come on, Smokey. Graceful. Ready to go for a ride? Well, I guess if there's one part of this that was gonna be easy, it's getting them in the trailer. Because like I told you, they will just follow you to the ends of the earth when they want to get that bottle. So I've still got about half of the milk in the bottle. I figure I might need to use it to get them to go where I want them to go when we get over to the ranch. So once we get over there, we can give them the rest. All right, well, I'm kind of shooting from the hip with this whole procedure here, but I think the way that I did this with Buddy, and that seemed to work out all right, I'll kind of lead them out of the trailer and we'll just walk out into the pasture. I'm thinking they'll follow me pretty easily the whole way. And then I'll just finish their bottles out there in the pasture with the other cows. Hopefully by the time they finish the bottle, they'll be interested in sort of going around and meeting everybody, that I can just kind of slip away and they won't try to follow me back out of here. Before we let them out of the trailer, I am gonna ear tag these calves. I have been asked several times about whether or not I was gonna do that. And while I had them up at the house, there was really no reason. It's not like I was gonna get them confused. But now that they're gonna be out with all the other calves, granted, all the other calves have ID tags, so I could just say, well, whichever calves don't have tags are the bottle calves, and that's fine for now, but then it can also get confusing when you're looking at calves from a distance and you can tell that, you know, you've got a black one without an ear tag. Is that a new calf? Is that the bottle calf? This way, it just keeps it consistent. Anything that I see out there without a tag, I know is a new calf. And even though we've only got 3 to go out here, this might be much ado about nothing, but I'm just gonna do it. So I think we will go S for Smokey. L for Littles. S for Smokey, L for Littles. I do want to point out, because I know a lot of people might think it's mean to ear tag the calves because it hurts them or whatever. And you would probably think that when you see me tagging them out in the field and they jump up and sometimes they call out. And I have always suspected that that was more because I surprised them, not because I'm hurting them. And if you notice with the two bottle calves here, I'm not surprising them. They're comfortable and used to me. And when I put ear tags in them, they don't even flinch. They don't make one bit of noise or any sort of indication that that doesn't feel good. So, you know, for what it's worth. There you go. It's one way to do it. Come on, boys. So you might notice I don't have a bottle with me, and that's because I knew I'd be juggling cameras and calves the whole walk out here. So I've got the bottles out here in the field, and you know, that's just an idea to make my life a little easier here. Come on, boys. Feeding two at once is, well, you see what it is. Isn't it funny that Buddy was the first one to come check him out, and he's very interested in me today. I think he might remember what a bottle is. Is that what's going on here today? Well, I'd say all in all, that's a pretty successful introduction. They've just kind of been running around, playing. You can tell they're enjoying having the extra space and the green grass, and I'm sure it won't be long until there goes Smokey right now running behind me. I'm sure soon they'll appreciate having some friends to play with as well. Well, now I've got a bit of a problem. Smokey's pretty happy to just run around and play. He's not really too worried about me, but Littles is still glued to my hip, and I want them both to stay out here with the cows and not follow me back into the corral. So I'm just gonna walk around out here, and hopefully eventually he just kind of gets interested in something else, and then I can sneak away. Okay, I think this is my chance. What are you doing? Go back with the other cows. No, kitchen's closed, man. I was almost free and clear. Smokey ran me down, but I think he got occupied with something, so I'm just gonna run. Smokey, you, I did not think would be the one that would follow me in here. I thought we had it. I better walk him back out there. Come on, let's go. Well, after some clever evasive maneuvers, I was finally able to slip out of there. Every time I would get to the gate, there would be Smokey. He'd spot me and start running over here, but I finally got him. And the only reason that I'm worried about them staying with the cows and not following me today is just because they're in a new environment and I want them to learn to stay with the herd. I think that's innate in them, but it, you know, might take a day or so for them to kind of get it. I mean, you got to remember, right now they think I'm mom, and what their brain is wired to do is follow mom. So that's what makes this difficult. A comment I got in the last video so many times that I was really surprised that you guys noticed and said something was about the weights. I didn't say one thing about the weights of the yearlings as they went through the chute, and I don't really have a good reason of why I didn't do that other than I was pretty sick when I was doing that. I felt honestly a lot worse than I was trying to let on. And you know, when you are feeling like that and working, sometimes you just don't, I don't know, you just don't think to do things that you otherwise would do. So yes, I did gather weights on the yearlings. The scale worked fine with the Arrowquip. You guys saw the load bars bolt right up to it, which is awesome. That makes it really convenient. And beyond that, it's just a matter of plugging the scale head into the load bars. When I shortened the alleyway, I took away my mounting point for the scale head. So this time when I ran the yearlings through, I just had the scale head laying here on the end of the catwalk because I haven't figured out where I want to permanently mount it yet. For mounting the W1 scale head, I've got two ideas. The first one is just make a new mount right here on the end of the alleyway. Actually, having it right here would probably be the best way to do it because I'm operating the butt gate from here, I'm operating the head gate from here, and it would be cool just to be able to see that number as soon as they walk in. My other idea is to make like some sort of mount on the chute itself, because as I'm running them through or running them in, I'm going to be looking that way, so it might be nice to have it over here so that it's in my line of sight. The only thing about that is I just feel like I would have to run the cables in such a convoluted way that it, you know, just might not be the best. It would probably be a lot simpler and almost just as good to have it right here. But as far as the weights go, there wasn't really any huge changes. Remember, we just ran these guys through like less than 3 months ago, I think. So there weren't any drastic changes. The heaviest steer was 891 pounds, which is pretty great. That's a big boy. And that was 2321. He has been a standout this entire year. And it's unfortunate that I do not know who his mother is, or his sire for that matter, because it would be really nice to isolate those genetics. If all of my calves performed like him, my profitability would be significantly higher. The average over that group was 752 pounds, so those aren't like, you know, earth-shattering numbers for yearling weights, but they're not terrible either. And another question I saw in that last video was about why was I taking the heifers to the steer pasture. And I've talked about this a little bit before, but if you missed it, which apparently some people did, my plan this year is to take the Bismarck bull up to the steer pasture and put him in with that group so he can breed those 3 heifers, and then he can just spend the summer up there. What are you doing here? Oh, you good girl, Callie. Oh, you a good girl. And one more thing, which I feel like I've said several times now. After putting the last video up, I got an email from one of the, I think, product engineers at Arrowquip, and he informed me that, basically, summarizing what he said, this bolt that I reinstalled on the head gate, linkage, whatever you want to call it, I did not get that tight enough, and there's a lot of slop in there that he can notice in the video. He said if I tighten that bolt down and pinch that square tubing, it'll take that out. So while we're here, I think we should do that. That's tight enough. I feel like I'm gonna break the bolt. Okay, I think that took the slop out now. Something that I've decided here in the working corral is that I do not like this gate being able to swing through the gateway like it does now. It used to be that the gate stopped against this post, but since replacing the post on the other side of the gate, that just no longer is the case. A lot of you pointed out that if I was just to straighten this post up, that it would probably solve that problem, and it's it's hard to tell just by looking at it, but it would be really close and it might solve the problem. So I think I want to try to do that. I think if I dig out a little bit on this side of the post, pull it over with the come along, I think it'll at least get me really close to where I want it, and you know, then we'll have a straight post. This will look better, and it'll also reduce the gap, because this would be a good spot for like a calf to get its head through, maybe trying to push through or whatever. And if we can close this gap up, that'll be better as well. So even if that's all we accomplish, I still call that a win. I've been latching the gate with this big old, I think this is 3/8 chain, and I use that because obviously it's strong, but it is kind of cumbersome to latch it that way every time, and I wouldn't mind going back to the small one. The small one that was on here before won't even reach now because this gap is so big. So if we straighten the post up, we ought to close that gap, and I can at least go back to using the same chain. Man, the ground is harder than I thought it would be. I mean, it still looks like it's got a fair amount of moisture in it, but it was hard. Anyway, it is not lost on me that I've already done the hard part of what it would take to just drop another post in next to this one, and that would solve all my problems. But, you know, that's not really, in my mind, the right way to fix this, although it would work. I would rather try to straighten this out, and I am aware that there's a chance I can break this post when I'm doing this, when I'm pulling on it. So I'm gonna have to pull pretty hard, I think. And if I do break the post by trying to lean it over, then I guess I probably needed a new post anyway. I imagine this will be strong enough down low here. Uh-oh. Man, are you kidding me? Finally, just had to go grab a different chain. This thicker chain was just about an inch too short, but you know, an inch may as well be a mile. If it's too short, it's too short. So I got a longer chain here. It's a little bit lighter duty, but if we got to pull on this post that hard to get it to lean over, we're probably gonna have other problems. Starting to look pretty darn close there. I think we're ready to throw a level on it, see where we're at. A little more, not much. I think that's pretty good right there. Post is plumb, and that bottom board looks like it moved over 2.5 inches, maybe a little bit more than that. And that's at the bottom. Up here at the top, we probably moved like 6 or 7 inches. So I just got to get this packed in now so that it doesn't move, and then we can try this gate again, see if we fixed anything. The post looks great, maybe straighter than I've ever seen it in my entire life. And this post, I'm pretty sure, has been here my entire life. However, I am a little bit worried that once I take tension off of it and remove the come along, that it's gonna, you know, tip back over a little bit. I don't know, I dug around down there and tried to find, like, it should have made some sort of a void or a gap when I pulled it up straight, but I really couldn't find anything. So I just packed it as best I could on that side and, just kind of hope for the best. So I guess what I could do, if it does move when I take the come along off, I can always just pull it back with the come along. But it would be nice just to see where the gate hits it now, and then maybe once we just verify that that's all good, I can put the come along back on it and like water the base of the post here to get everything to settle. And then hopefully by the next time I want to bring some cows in here, it's all ready to go. I definitely saw it spring back a little bit, but to the eye, it still looks pretty good. The level may not like it as much anymore, but it still looks all right. That's perfect. All right. Yeah, that's just where we want it. So that's actually really good. That's kind of exactly what I was hoping it would turn out to be. But you can see it's touching the post down here at the bottom. There's still a gap up at the top, and that is because that post sprung back a little bit. So we've gone this far. We may as well go a little bit further and make it perfect. I'm gonna pull this over with the come along again and just water the base of the post, try to tamp it again, and then I'll leave the come along on it for a couple days probably until, all that dirt has a chance to settle and everything gets where it needs to be. Yeah. I like that right there. This looks good, and sometimes just the little dumb jobs that give you a lot of satisfaction to see them work out the way you're hoping. So I think I'm going to leave this for now, and I'll come back in a couple hours with some new bottles for the bottle calves and see if we can't get them fed their dinner.
Here instead.
Yeah, he got out of the fence, I guess.
Really smoky. Really smoky. Smoky.
That's one word for it.
Smoky.
You like his S ear tag?
Yeah, his S ear tag looks cool on him.
Alright, come on, littles.
Come on, littles. Where are we gonna put it?
Well, apparently we have some security issues in this corral with the bottle calves. I think I know where they're getting through on these 4-pipe fences. The calves can basically walk right through there. So I'm gonna have to do something about that, but for tonight, we'll just put them in the working corral.
Let's move you in here. Yeah, Smokey and Wills could use your Arrowquip too.
It'll stay in here.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, this wasn't exactly as seamless of a transition as I was hoping for, but I think I kind of know where my problems are now and what I need to do to fix them. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.